The Atari 7800 is near and dear to my heart. It was one of the first retro consoles that I started collecting, and I absolutely love it. There's so many great classics that have been released on it, and aftermarket games keep coming out for it. You know, I can think of Robotron, I can think of Choplifter, Ms. Pac-Man, Centipede, Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong. The list goes on and on. And we're not talking about any of those classics today. We're talking about bad games. Some of the worst on the console. You know, while it had some classics, boy, did it have some bad games. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 bad games on the Atari 7800, as well as an honorable mention. So sit back, relax. You may want to grab some popcorn. Here we go. Light gun games were really popular in the 80s. I enjoy them. Unfortunately, what you're looking at is not a light gun game. The competitor to the Atari 7800, the Nintendo Entertainment System, had some amazing light gun games. And even the Atari 7800 had several other games that utilized a light gun. This one is not one of them. I don't know why they chose to go with a standard controller option to play this game, but it's terrible. Then it has a bonus round that has different control than the standard game. The control is sluggish, and it's nearly impossible to play this bonus round. I don't like this game whatsoever because of the control. It's not because of the graphics. Sound, I can forgive the Atari 7800 as many games utilize just the 2600 sound chip. But when it comes down to it, this is no fun to use a controller to move the cursor around to take out enemies, which move a lot faster than you're able to get around to taking them out. With practice, you can get better at this, but it's not fun. This is a good example of Atari really trying to phone it in and not live up to its classic legacy. Next up is a substandard boxing game, Fight Night. And remember, look at when this game was released, 1988. And so people were able to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the NES. This is so far below that. I hate this game. You know, I'm fine with like a cartoonish boxer, which they're trying to do with this, which was, you know, boxing games were popular at the time. But that sluggish control, when you're hitting your opponent, their stamina or energy bar replenishes way too fast. This is just not fun to play. And I got pummeled over and over again. It's just a good example where Atari was kind of lost at what they were trying to offer on their console that just wasn't fun. It was just a shadow of what they were earlier in the 80s, as well as even in the arcades. And I absolutely despise this game for a boxing game. You know, the graphics look fine. It just has really, really bad control. That's what it comes down to. You know, when you have a game like this, and you need to have good control for a good boxing game. And I just kept losing over and over again. If I played it more, yeah, I'd probably get better at it. But I don't want to get better at it because it's no fun to play. I kept trying. One interesting thing is that you can keep boxing different opponents even if you lose. But gosh, it is truly a terrible game for the aspect of poor controls, and that's why it's on my list. I hate this game. I don't like playing it. Have to show it. This next one is controversial as it does have really good sound, and I'm a big fan of pinball games and breakout style games, and this is a combination of that, a pinball breakout style game, and you think I would like it. No, I absolutely despise this game. I never have liked Jinx. One of my biggest games that I hate on the console. Now, it's got a silly story, and I'll read the back of the box. You're about to embark on one of the most dangerous missions of your career. As a renowned Starfleet pilot, you have been selected to command an exploration party in a journey across the galaxy to investigate the mysterious planet Jinx. Jinx is an enigma for centuries. Jinx is a lush, resource-rich world, and you can be the key to the desperate need for human expansion in space. Okay, this is just a terrible combination of pinball and breakout style. I don't like the control. You can easily progress through the 4 stages. That's right, there's only 4 stages. I don't like that you get hit by certain enemies, and then your paddle shrinks. This should be a paddle game. It's not. It's a standard controller. Again, it goes back to that control. Very, very difficult to maneuver. I don't like it. The graphics are okay. Some of the sound effects are alright. But, you know, I'm not going to play this game. I'd rather play Breakout. I'd even rather play Atari 2600 pinball games, or the awesome Baby Pac-Man that was an aftermarket game for the Atari 7800. It's amazing. But, gosh, I really, really, really despise this game. I don't like it whatsoever. I don't like the premise. I don't like the level design. And quite frankly, I'm just going to play better games. Next is an arcade conversion from '84. It's, you know, trying to have that classic Pong experience on a one-on-one hockey game. It has choppy control. I don't think this works. You know, again, its competitor, the Nintendo Entertainment System, a year after this would be released, would come out with one of the best ice hockey games for me that I've ever experienced. But this just doesn't work. This is a good example of like Atari trying to go back to their classic era, in an era when people wanted more in gaming. It doesn't work. I don't like the choppy motions of this. I think there's going to be some people that like this game and enjoy the simple premise of it. I'd rather play a standard Pong game than this. I don't think it works for me. There needs to be way more options, especially when this came out in '87. You know, if this came out earlier, I would be more forgiving of it. But I think at this time, Atari 7800 game needed to offer more, especially when there was better options on the market. And I just don't think this works. It's too simple. I think as a bonus, this would be fine. But I know it's an arcade game, but even as an arcade game, this wasn't a huge hit. But, you know, okay. I'll digress. Okay, I'd rather play a full-on hockey game. I love hockey games. This is just too basic for me. I know there's going to be fans out there, but I think it just doesn't work. A big nope for me. Alright, one of my most hated games on the console, and that's Crocodile. And I'm going to talk about the computer version later, but this really is terrible, and it comes down to control. The control in this game is atrocious. You have a standing position and a fighting stance. And if you get hit in the standing position, you are dead. One hit, kill, done. And you have to be in the standing position to move your character forward. And they took a timeless computer classic game and murdered it because of that terrible control. Absolutely hate the controls in this game. It looks fine. And this is another example where one port is not the same as another. This is the Atari 8-bit version. Many people out there probably grew up with this version, and it's a great game. I know that many people probably played it on a computer, Apple, Commodore 64. I think there's even an Atari ST version, but play it on those. Play it on the computer. Do not play this on the Atari 7800, as your experience will be like mine, horrific. The Atari 8-bit version is so superior. Really enjoyed playing this. I was able to beat several opponents. Have you played this one? And what classic computer did you play it on? As for me, I know that if I'm going to go back and play this, it's definitely going to be on the Atari 8-bit. So those are my 5 picks for bad games on the Atari 7800. And you're probably wondering, but wait, there's one game that is impossible to beat. That's right. Impossible Mission has a bug in it, and you cannot beat it, and that is most unfortunate. This is actually a good game. That's why it's an honorable mention, but you can't beat it. The good news is that you can find a fixed ROM on the Atari Age forums where you can play this now and beat the game. There's also been some graphic hacks to it, making this good game even better and fully playable. I want to thank everybody for coming to my channel. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell, as I'm uploading new content every week. Had a lot of fun with this one and looking forward to doing more. This is the Immortal John Hancock. Thank you for coming to this channel. You have a good day.